Pharonic Guardian was released on July 18th, 2003. This set introduced Gravekeepers, Yu-Gi-Oh's very first archetype, as well as introduced a plethora of highly powerful, highly playable cards to the game. Additionally, a new ban list went into effect just before the release of Pharaonic Guardian on July 8th, 2003. Exiled Force, Fiber Jar, Injection Fairy Lily, Twin-Headed Behemoth, and Yatagarasu were all now limited to 1 copy each, and Marauding Captain, Creature Swap, Reinforcement of the Army, and Last Turn were all now semi-limited to 2 copies. In this series, both MBT and myself will be traversing the sands of Yu-Gi-Oh's history. Each episode will take a deep dive into Yu-Gi-Oh's past formats and unlock new strategies as new sets become available. Strap yourselves in because anything is possible. Welcome to the history of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Well, it's a new week, and I can't say I'm particularly happy to be wearing this shirt, but what did you want me to do? Did you watch that last episode? How exactly was I supposed to beat Graceful Charity into Pot of Greed, into Delinquent Duo, into Magician of Faith, into Graceful Charity? I could be Yugi Moto himself and would have lost to that. Anyway, this week I'm feeling a little better. The mid-2003s is when the Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta starts to develop. It's no longer people playing schoolyard staples, it starts being competitive players understanding decks. And more importantly, writing them down. Gone are the days in which I would have to deck build on my own. Now I can consult the annals of history. I'll think of a better adjective for that later. And take my decks from the source. The winning worlds lists. The losing worlds lists. The locals topping monstrosities on Pojo.com. The world is my oyster, and I'm gonna play the best oyster possible. We're in front of the wheel, and we only get the single spin. I'm hoping for pretty much anything but Jank. Hand Destruction is far and away the best deck in the format. It's what was most represented at Worlds, and Beatdown is pretty close to Hand Destruction, just playing a couple of extra cards to facilitate a higher monster count. If we do roll Jank, I'll probably play either Bad Pac-Man or Bad Empty Jar, but I'll describe those if I hit them. We'll give it a couple of sweet spins, get it going as fast as possible, and fingers crossed for Hand Destruction. Oh, come on. No!
Well, thanks to my good friend Yatagarasu, I am no longer in the shirt of shame. But the more things change, the more things stay the same. Because as you can see here by the wheel, we're not really changing things up too much with the release of Pharaonic Guardian. We did, however, actually change some of the nodes here. Because during this time, there was realistically like 2 viable strategies. There was Hand Destruction, which you witnessed in the last episode. And this deck actually gained more power from Pharaonic Guardian with some of the new cards released in that set. And then there was Beatdown. Now, obviously, there's going to be about 20 to 25 cards that both of these decks share, but Hand Destruction is the control deck of the format, focusing on just winning via ripping all your opponent's cards out of their hand and then preventing them from drawing by Yata locking them, and Beatdown is trying to win more traditionally in the sense where it just wants to beat your opponent down to 0 before they effectively get hand locked with Yatagarasu. We have the third category changed to Jank because that represents everything else that people were playing at the time. We were looking and finding some absolute gems of decks, so if we happen to roll Jank, we're going to have a good time with this one, I imagine, but I have 2 spins since I won the last episode, so I would say it's highly unlikely that that will be the case. So let's go ahead and get the spinning going, and hopefully we don't have to play some Jank. Let's see what we are going to end up with. Please tell me you're joking. Please don't do this to me. Please don't do this to me. We just won a game. I have the advantage. I'm so grateful I get another spin here. Let's hope for the best. I gotta give this more spins. I cannot allow this to happen. Please, please, please. There's no way I can get Jank. There is absolutely no way I can spin. Please help. Oh my god. Oh, we dodged a bullet on that one.
I am become death, destroyer of formats. This is what we've brewed for Jank, and it is, as the name implies, Jank. This is a miserable deck. I'm playing Last Turn, but in order to explain to you what it does and why we're playing it, I need to talk to you about the way Yu-Gi-Oh! Is played. Now, there are two different ways you can play past formats. You can either play them as they existed. 2003, for example, only saw a couple of months under this ban list, and as a result, the format was less garbage like this and more schoolyard staples like Guardian Sphinx, or you can play them historically. Now, playing a format historically has a lot of advantages, but the biggest is time. There's no temporal quality to these decks. They exist forever, which means that individuals who are trying to break the format have an infinite amount of time to do so. Look at the FTK decks in GOAT with something like a 70% representation rate if everyone just doesn't decide to gentleman's out of them. There are some really broken things in old Yu-Gi-Oh! That just never got discovered, and this is a perfect example of one of them. I present to you Last Turn. Last Turn is a card that absolutely cannot be removed from the ban list for any reason ever. It can only be activated during your opponent's turn, and your life points have to be 1,000 or less. You get to pick one monster on your side of the field, and send all other cards on the field and in both players' hands to the graveyard. Your opponent specials one monster from their deck, and then that's it. They do battle, and the player whose monster remains on the field wins. Anything else, there is a draw. This causes some unintended consequences with some additional cards. We're playing Jaugen the Spiritualist. If this is the card that we select to end on, our opponent can't special summon the card, and as a result, we automatically win because our monster remains alone. We can also play Non-Aggression Area as a way to prevent our opponent from summoning a monster. This is a very janky card that has seen next to zero play, but every time it does, boy oh boy is it used for something ridiculous. Now you may be wondering, how are we going to get down to 1,000 life points? That's pretty difficult to do, and to you I would respond, no, there are a ton of cards that do it. Back in the day, in GOAT format for example, you would use Wall of Revealing Light to get under Last Turn. But we have to use Inspection, which is the only payout tool available to us. Now, this allows us during our opponent's standby phase to randomly select a card in our opponent's hand and look at it for the cost of 500 life points. This does not activate once. An old UDE ruling demystifies this, but you can fire this as many times as you want. I'm sure in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! This is not the case. As a result, we are playing 2 copies of Last Turn and 1 copy of Self-Destruct Button. Last Turn is regrettably semi-limited, so we're playing Self-Destruct as a 3rd copy in case things go very, very, very badly. Let me walk you through the individual cards. We're on Cyberjar to out things like Jinzo, which would put a stop to the combo. We're on Double Jaugen the Spiritualist. I don't want to play 3 because my preferred way of winning the game is non-aggression. We're on Triple Magician of Faith. We're on Morphing Jar. We're on Mystic Tomato. It's not a fantastic card, but maybe it stalls a little. We're on Sangan. It's a preferred target. We're on Sinister Serpent and Witch of the Black Forest. We've got 3 Book of Moon. This is a fantastic card either for recycling our jars, which will get us deeper into our deck, or more realistically for turning a Jinzo face down. We're on Double Giant Trunade. Very important that our opponent doesn't have MSTs with which to beat our sets. We're on Graceful Charity. We're on Harpy's Feather Duster. We're on Triple Inspection. We're on Pot of Greed. We're on Swords. We're on Upstart Goblin. Now, we do need to slow the game down, so we are on 3 copies of Gravity Bind. We are on 2 copies of Last Turn and 3 copies of Non-Aggression Arena. 3 copies of Reckless Greed came out this set and was limited shortly after. Self-Destruct and 3 Solemn Judgment. In the side, we are on the hand destruction tools, Forceful Sentry, Confiscation, and Delinquent Duo, Big Monster Sweepers, Dark Hole, and Regeki in case we're up against aggro, Triple Messenger of Peace in case, I don't know, Alex decides he needs to get the screws on us, Nobleman of Crossout if Alex is on control, Dust Tornado, Triple Raigeki Break for odds and ends, and Double Torrential Tribute in case I am being attacked. So I think we might be able to do this, but it is going to require a lot of luck. It's going to require a lot of planning, and unfortunately, it is going to require skill.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we just avoided having to play a complete abomination of a jank deck, and instead we're gifted hand destruction once more. So this is how hand destruction looked post Pharaonic Guardian. If you watch the last episode, you're gonna have a general understanding of how this deck works. Basically, you're trying to remove cards from the opponent's hand as quickly as possible, getting to the point where you can just summon Yatagarasu and make it so they can't draw for turn, and that basically just ends the game in and of itself, even if their life points is well above 0. So we're gonna do the card by card. First up, 2 copies of Don Zalug. This is basically White Magical Hat with 400 more attack points. It can also send the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck to the graveyard, but mostly you're going to be ripping cards out of your opponent's hand. What's nice about this is that it is summonable off of Mystic Tomato, giving us another strong Mystic Tomato target. So if we're in a very simplified game state, we could summon Don Zalug, maybe follow it up with Raigeki, and then that way we can start ripping cards out of Joseph's hand. Don Zalug is a house, and I really hope to get to show that off this episode. Fiber Jar, just a nice reset button in case things aren't going our way. We can search this with Sangan or Witch. Jinzo, still an all-star and probably will be for the next several episodes. Magician of Faith, just to get back some of our spells. We're in a hand destruction sort of format, and so being able to recur something such as Confiscation, Delinquent Duo, Graceful Charity, anything like that is huge, but we don't want to be playing too many of this because our main focus is to rip cards out of the opponent's hand, not keep getting cards back to our hand. 3 Mystic Tomato, 1 Sangan, and 1 Witch of the Black Forest. These are basically just going to enable us to have access to every single card in the deck. 1 Sinister Serpent, because it's great. This is also good at keeping off of Yada, because the thing is, we could just keep having Sinister Serpent come back every single turn if Joseph tries to pseudo Yada lock us, and Sinister Serpent's just a great way that if he doesn't have Kaiku, will actually be able to keep us in the game, hopefully. Spirit Reaper is another card that we can also summon off Mystic Tomato. This card's great because it actually cannot be destroyed by battle, so we could take some damage if we summon it off of Tomato, but it won't get destroyed, and then this can also rip cards out of the opponent's hand as well. It does have the downside that if it's targeted by an effect, it just gets immediately destroyed, but nonetheless, Spirit Reaper is a fantastic card, and actually very difficult to deal with in this particular format. We have the Yatagarasu, the all-star of the deck, and 3 Gemini Elves. The primary purpose of Gemini Elf is to be the front line to clear everything else out of the way, so that way we are able to get in with Dawn, with Spirit Reaper, and start ripping cards out of Joseph's hand. Next up, spells: Change of Heart, Confiscation, Dark Hold, Delinquent Duo, 2 Graceful Charity, Harpy's Feather Duster, Heavy Storm, 1 Mirage of Nightmare. This is another gift from Pharaonic Guardian. I could have gone crazy and gone for 3 Mirage, but the thing is, this card is very, very hit or miss. It's very reliant on if you have Mystical Space Typhoon, which we are playing 3 of. Basically, during the opponent's standby phase, if you have no cards in your hand, you draw 4, and then you can MST it during your own standby phase to not have to see the drawback of having to discard your whole hand. So you can get some insane card advantage off of this card. But if you don't have the MST, this card really isn't going to generate you that sort of value, and it's very, very risky, so I'm just playing the 1 with the 3 MST. This will probably get limited on the next limited list, but honestly, I think 1 is okay, and plus, where do we even fit 2 more copies of Mirage? It's really hard to say. Monster Reborn, Pot of Greed, Premature Burial, Regeki, Snatch Steal, and Forceful Sentry round out the spells, and then the traps: Call of the Haunted, 3 drop-off. I've explained this in the last video. This is basically just another way to rip cards out of the hand. Like Confiscation, like Forceful Sentry, does have to be on the draw phase, but it just adds to the permutations of the amount of cards you can draw to ultimately just get them down to the point where they have no cards. Imperial Order, Mirror Force, and Ring of Destruction. I've got 2 more Ring in the side deck. I'm only playing 1. This is a 41 card deck. I really want to play 3 of this card while we can, but space is just so tight. Ring of Destruction is just great spot removal, gets threats out of the way. It does lose to Jinzo, but it is still a hell of a card. I feel like if I was playing Beatdown, I would want to main 3 copies of this because it's just going to get our life points down so quickly. Moving on to the side deck, Aeronite Parshath and Asura Priest, in case Joseph's on any sort of scapegoat shenanigans, we can side these in. 3 copies of Electric Snake, Joseph's best friend. He used this on me in one of the very first episodes of the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! And if there's a time for this card to come back, it's now. With all the hand destruction we have going on, this card can come in clutch, and honestly, I'd be very shocked if Joseph also wasn't side decking this. We also have Exiled Force, Kaiku, 1 Book of Moon. The side deck space is a little bit tight, but Book of Moon's a nice way to actually counteract Jinzo, which we have very few ways to deal with. It is a spell card, very versatile card, and I just have 1 of it because I had a 15th slot in the side deck. Painful Choice, I only want to have this in the main deck when I know I'm going first because I want to get the maximum chances to get the hand destruction going. If I'm going second, I think Painful Choice isn't nearly as good, so that's why we have it in the side. 1 copy of Scapegoat in case he's on a more aggressive deck, 2 more copies of Ring for the same reason, and also 3 copies of Torrential Tribute to be able to deal with any sort of aggression of his own. If he's playing hand destruction, it cleans up the board rather nicely. If he's on an aggressive deck, it'll also just wipe up the board so that way we can get in and start ripping cards. Just a great all-around card, and yeah, that really does it for the deck. It's pretty straightforward, and we're gonna see a lot of hand destruction this episode. I can imagine, obviously it depends on what Joseph spun. This is going to be a bloodbath. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to duel. Joseph, I don't know what the hell took you so long to get here. I don't know if you were like washing that shirt of yours by hand, but it took you a real long time to join into this game. What were you doing over there? What are you scheming? I don't really trust when you take that long.
I am just a shell of a man. The process of building this list was a disaster, and I think you're going to find out why pretty momentarily. To the viewers, I would like to issue you a special apology on behalf of Cimo for bringing me onto this series. A huge mistake, as we're all about to find out.
While we go ahead and start this rock, paper, scissors, we will go ahead and shout out our patron, Mr. Track777, my favorite number. Thank you so much for the support. And Joseph, choose wisely, buddy.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Ooh, okay.
We had the same idea. All right.
I didn't have any idea.
Oh!
I am a shell of a man when I'm playing rock, paper, scissors, and I leave everything to the die. Yeah, baby, let's go.
That's it, baby.
2021's looking pretty nice for me. I don't know about you.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
Boy, this is a hand.
Fuck.
I will start by drawing for turn. And let's kick it off strong with a graceful charity.
Yeah, getting war flashbacks here.
Oh, it gets worse because, you know, I just happened to open that lovely Sinister Serpent in my opening hand as well.
Oh, fantastic.
And wow, there's just so many good cards in my hand. I actually don't know which one to choose. I think I'm going to get rid of this Gemini Elf, as a matter of fact.
Okay, Gemini Elf is a normal card, so I'm breathing a bit of a sigh of relief.
How about a second graceful charity? Will that breathe a sigh of relief for you?
I don't know if it's like I need to win the die roll or something. What do I have to do to pay the DB Shuffler to stop giving you double graceful in your opening hand?
Well, I'll go ahead and get rid of this fiber jar, I suppose.
I don't think you'll be down in this game at any time.
Not really, at least with the way things are going so far. And I suppose, wow, Joseph, this hand is crazy. I don't know what to get rid of. I think I'm going to get rid of Mystical Space Typhoon.
Sure.
How about we do a pot of greed? How does that sound, Joseph? Is that good? I think that's a nice way to just keep the love going around.
Is everyone having fun? Everyone enjoying this?
I'm having a blast. Thank you so much for asking. Funny enough, I actually going to end on probably one of the most lackluster turns imaginable. All I'm going to do is simply set a monster and go ahead.
So you drew 13 cards that turn, and you didn't find any hand destruction? I'm glad to hear it. Well, I know you don't have an Ash Blossom, so let's start off with a pot of greed of my own.
Okay, you know, that's perfectly fine considering what I just did on my opener.
And thank God we found the graceful charity as well.
Oh, are you just gonna do the reverse of what I just did? Show me the Sinister Serpent.
There it is.
Oh, baby, there he is.
Oh, God. Oh, I don't know what to send. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Our hands are going to be so lit after this, and I'm kind of scared that you're actually going second now.
All right, to grave goes Mystic Tomato.
Okay.
We're going to go 1, 2, 3, and I'm determining if I want to set a fourth one.
That's risky.
Ugh, God. 7 cards. You pitched an MST. There's a 0% chance you don't have Spell and Trap Destruction. Yeah, we're going to pass turn here.
Okay. I will draw. Anything on the draw phase?
I do not have anything on the draw phase.
Okay, well, given your sleeves, I figured it was pretty obvious I would want to ask. Standby phase, though, I will get this lovely Sinister Serpent back to my hand.
Sounds good.
And we'll go to main 1. Interesting that neither of us opened with hand destruction.
Yeah.
Odd. All right, well, let's start off by firing a Change of Heart.
Oh, you're not gonna like this. It is Cyberjar.
Okay, that's interesting, actually. Oh, wow, is that interesting? So, okay, what happens here, hypothetically, if I were to flip this Cyberjar?
Let's find out.
All the monsters would get destroyed on the field. We each go +5, effectively. What's the worst that could happen? This is a very interesting situation. If you're setting Cyberjar, I feel like you're in a bit of a desperate situation and you're looking for just more cards.
Yeah, you think? You think I'm in a bit of a desperate situation versus charity pot?
Hey, you drew pot and charity too.
I'm
so
a
I'm only
charity
up one
down
charity
on you.
Well, let's just do this. I'm going to tribute off the Cyberjar. Let's just bring in the boy.
Yeah, I figured.
I will flip up this Witch of the Black Forest that was set, and we'll proceed to battle.
Okay, I will take a quadrillion attack, right?
This will be 35 if it all connects.
And it will.
Okay, main phase 2. I think I'll just pass. Go ahead.
Not ideal. All right, well, I'm going to set one, and
oh, no.
I'm going to pass my turn.
Okay, I will draw. So he set the Cyber Jar. What other options does that leave for you here? Fiber Jar is still in the format.
Correct.
And that could be your saving grace at this point. So maybe the Cyber Jar was actually bait all along.
Broken. That was the plan.
Oh, geez. You're on 45? If it's Fiber Jar, I mean, you might just get to flip it one way or another. All right. If it is a Cyber Jar, or a Fiber Jar, rather, so be it. I will normal summon Donzalug.
Oh, wow. You really are going for it. Sure.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Let's hit in. Show it to me.
That sucks. I'm going to Book of Moon your Jinzo.
Okay. So that's not the worst, but I feel like Book of Mooning Jinzo means that you probably want to use that other face down. If it's Fiber Jar, it's gonna happen no matter what, I imagine. So let's just hit in and see what you got.
Oh my god, the punish. All right, it's Witch of the Black Forest.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm trying not to get
100 here.
Zaluged here.
Yeah, we'll attack into Witch.
All right, I'm going to activate Witch.
Of course.
This is a thinker. I'm going to get Morphing Jar.
Morphing Jar.
Yes.
Interesting. Haven't seen Morphing Jar in a while. I'll go to main 2. I'll just set a card, and I'll pass it over to you.
Oh, okay.
Drop off!
Dude, I really fucking needed that one. Oh, I really needed that one. Fuck me.
Is that 2 for 2 in sequential episodes that I've dropped off Graceful Charity?
This is very rough. All right, go
I'm so
ahead,
sorry.
I suppose.
Okay, I'll draw. Now, I'm curious as to what your back row could possibly, or excuse me, your set monster could possibly be if you're setting all these cards.
It is the Fiber Jar. You got me.
Of
I was
course.
keeping the Fiber Jar under wraps the whole time.
All right, so if we go Morphing Jar, like, I'm kind of okay with Morphing Jar, I suppose. You could have another book, which, I mean, book kind of puts Jinzo in check, so it's not the worst. I'm going to start by flipping up this Jinzo, if that's okay.
It is not. I'm going to Solemn here.
Ooh, that's a good way to take care of him.
It's not ideal.
Sure. I mean, it does the job, right? Well, that got your life points down, so I'm not actually too bent out of shape about that. I'm going to fire off a Dark Hole here.
Whoa. Yeah, that's fine.
All right, Morphing Jar is gone. I will trigger my Witch.
Uh-huh.
You know, why not? Let's go for another copy of Dawn.
I imagine that is the play.
I'm going to activate Premature Burial targeting my Jinzo.
And I believe that is going to be it. I have nothing that outs it.
All right, like to see it.
I cannot wait until they ban Graceful Charity. This card has got to leave the format. You know what the best part of that match is? I realized at the very end, both of us forgot Sinister Serpent the entire game.
Oh, no, you forgot Sinister Serpent.
wait,
Mine was in my hand the whole time.
I've been outed as a fake gamer. All right, well, hopefully this one will go a little better. Good luck to you.
You as well. Hopefully you get some hand destruction this time around.
Okay, I did. Forceful Sentry. Let's see how many draw spells you're working with here.
I was really wishing that you didn't have Forceful Sentry specifically, because now you get to see this.
Oh, this son of a... Ooh, wow, you really thought Electric Snake was going to do something. You really thought we were going to do something here, huh? Wow, this is rough. Now, I want to get rid of Drop-Off because it is annoying and I hate it. The correct pick, of course, is the Witch of the Black Forest, but the Drop-Off. No, we'll take Witch.
Okay, say goodbye to your Graceful Charity a little bit later.
Yeah, we'll see.
To the deck
All right.
she goes. We'll shuffle away.
I'm going to set 3, and you are... oh, fuck it. I'll set 4. I'll set 5. I don't care about anything. Go.
Wow. No respect.
What, are you going to draw Heavy Storm?
Nothing on draw phase?
Oh, nothing on draw phase.
Okay. I'll go to main 1, and this hand is interesting, to say the least. I shall set a card, and I'll set 2 cards of my own. I can only play around 1 Imperm column, so go ahead.
Okay, so it was Drop-Off, Magician, and Electric Snake. What was the other spell?
It was Mirror Force. It was Mirror Force.
Mirror Force. Okay. Well, I'm sure that Mirror Force will come in big handy. All right, I'll draw for turn.
Are we going to drop off another Graceful Charity, Joseph?
Huh. I think you are going to drop this off, but it is also going to give the game away. All right, Alex.
Uh-oh.
Here it is.
You are... Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. We were so close last game. That Jinzo really screwed things up for me.
Playing last turn Jaugen? Are you serious?
Oh, there might be a few more tricks up my sleeve other than Jaugen. And the first of them is going to be this reckless greed.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Draw a couple of cards and proceed to our main phase 1. Now, I'm so concerned about that non-aggression arena. My God, imagine, the graceful charity that is in your future. Oh my God, what the fuck? I can't get rid of any of these cards.
Well, unfortunately, you have to discard 2, so...
Alex, do I have to?
You do. Per the game rules, you do. I'm sorry, Joseph.
You are going to lose your mind. I'm so sorry. It's gonna be a giant Trunade.
Okay.
And a Magician of Faith.
Yeah, those are both pretty good. So you have some...
Follow
okay,
it up
well,
again.
Yeah, that's a reason to keep it. Yeah, sure.
Barnacles.
Same predicament as before?
I think actually the opposite.
Did your hand get worse?
Oh, the hand got much better. We're gonna send Morphing Jar, for sure.
All right.
I don't think there's any reason to get you back into this game. We're gonna send Sandgan.
Wow, those 3 cards have to be nuts.
We're gonna activate... I'm giggling to myself, because I know as soon as I activate it, it's going to start an immediate argument. But that's Yu-Gi-Oh, baby. I'm gonna activate Inspection.
Okay.
I will set 1 card, and I will end my turn.
Okay, so I will draw here. During my standby phase, are you going to randomly select a card to look at in my hand for 500 life points?
I will be activating Inspection.
Okay, go ahead and pick a card.
I'm actually fine. I'll be activating Inspection again.
Oh.
So, we had to dig through the UDE rulings to find this, but Inspection used to be activatable an infinite amount of times in your standby phase. Something, no colon, continuous spell cards before problem-solving card text.
So, if I had to guess where this is going...
I think you will have a pretty good guess. You can just go ahead and show me your hand. Statistically, I think I'm likely to see it in the 14 activations that I will be firing off.
Well... I will go ahead and just put my hand all down here because you're going to know exactly what it is. Unfortunately, one of those cards was actually a killer, being Heavy Storm. I wish I had just drawn that, a turn earlier.
That's a nice one. A little less nice is what I have planned for you very shortly.
I bet.
Yeah, this is fine. It's a little screwy because of the way this works. Nothing else. I have nothing else to do.
Okay. I will go to main phase 1.
Fine with me.
I will tribute Electric Snake for Jinzo.
I will Solemn Judgment.
As expected. I will activate Heavy Storm.
And I'll Solemn Judgment again.
Wow, this man had... So those 3 cards in your hand then must have been like last turn, Solemn Judgment, I'm guessing.
They were, yes.
Yeah, that's the end of my turn, and I'm probably dead now, so go ahead.
So, unfortunately, I get no draw phase because of the effect of Reckless Greed, but fortunately for me, I can, in my standby, activate non-aggression area. So, by discarding my Reckless Greed, I can prevent you from conducting a special summon next turn. And then... I will pass it back.
Gee, I wonder what could be happening now. I'll draw for turn.
I'll go for last turn, and unfortunately, because I don't have a monster, I believe this forces a draw.
What?
There wasn't a way for me to do it and keep everything on my side of the field.
You're only playing 1 Jaugen?
I'm playing 2 Jaugans, but I can't summon from deck. My monster has to be from my side of the field.
Oh, so this card is balanced, is what you're saying.
Exactly. See?
I don't even know what to say.
If you would like.
Okay, so where does this leave the series? Because if we're going by tournament rules, a draw is technically a win in my favor then as well.
Oh, is it?
Because if you force a draw and I'm already up a game, don't I just win?
Oh, I thought we had to play a game 3.
Or do we play a... Well, if we play a game 3 and if you win, then is the whole thing just a wash? Like, what do we do?
This has caused an immediate problem. All right, let me see if I can find out.
You know, I'd figure if you went this far to play this deck, you would have actually known what was going to happen as a result of it.
Okay, so honestly, I forgot that I had to have a monster on my side of the field.
Oh, okay.
There were ways I could have done it, and I'm like, oh my god, I completely boofed it. I didn't need you to. I needed you not to have 2 things to solemn. Oh god. Okay. Let me see.
Can you even last turn me if you don't have a monster on your field? Or does it just force a draw because you don't have one?
I guess we're gonna find out. If so, this whole thing is fucked. I'm gonna die to Magician of Faith attack position, get in.
This will be fun to edit too, by the way.
Yeah.
One eternity later.
The victory check is performed. Fantastic. All right, now we have to figure out what draws look
okay,
like.
so you can resolve it.
Yeah, I just don't know what draw rules look like. I have this up from fucking self-destruct button of all things.
If you activate last turn and select the Rock Spirit or Soul of Purity and Light, their effects will be applied during your opponent's special battle phase.
Awesome. Okay, here's what it is. Once we have a duel result, we check for a match result. Everyone with 2 losses loses the match. If no one has 2 losses, but not everyone has a same amount of losses, those who have the highest amount of losses lose the match. If no one has 2 losses and everyone has the same amount of losses, what we do depends on Swiss or single elim. In Swiss, it's a draw. In single elim, we force another duel with very strict guidelines and a limited number of permitted turns and check life once there are no more turns permitted.
Okay.
This rocks.
So going by this logic, I also love that I just have the Yugipedia up for last turn card rulings, and this is like a novel.
The Yugipedia last turn card rulings starts, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, with the phrase, last turn is a card with some very interesting rulings.
Special and unusual rules,
Yeah,
to be specific.
Special and unusual. Yeah, I would admit that.
Okay, well, I think for the viewers' entertainment, we have to take this to a game 3. So
Yeah,
I'm
for
down
sure.
if you are, buddy.
Absolutely.
I will admit defeat on this one.
All right. Jesus Christ. Okay, this time I'll learn how to play the deck.
Well, Joseph, I...
Wait, who picks?
Oh, come on!
Oh no, I actually have no idea.
Do we just, like, roll dice?
Here, I've got one right beside me. I'll
I mean,
pick it up.
is that what you're supposed to do, or are we just making it up at this point?
I think we have long since lost a grasp on the rules. Problem-solving card text was not invented. It wasn't designed to deal with problems of this magnitude.
Ask your source.
Yeah, they do not know.
Oh,
They
fantastic.
say nothing has changed with draw rules, but that doesn't help me because I don't know draw rules. Ugh. All right, let me see what we got. In front of me, I have a die. I can roll it, and you can call if it's odd or even.
Or we just do high roll between the two of us, I suppose.
High roll sounds better.
Okay, so here's what we'll do. I'm going to roll my die, and I'm going to ensure that you have some level of integrity when you roll your die, and we're going to see what you end up rolling. I put mine in the chat.
All right.
I feel like this is... especially after I just said this.
All right, and I'll just type it here as well.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, come on! I was so excited.
I swear it was a 6. If you heard me stutter, it's because it just landed on a 6 when I did that. And I'm just like, if it was anything but a 6, it would not look suspicious.
Okay, take your hand control format and go.
I swear to God it was a 6. I swear.
So, for what it's worth, we talked about this a little bit while citing, but this is kind of how Yu-Gi-Oh! Was played for a long time. Cards are complicated, and you run into corner cases almost immediately, and as soon as you do, something like this happens.
All right, we'll draw for turn. Let's fire off Painful Choice to get things going.
Yeah, alright, sounds good to me. You can just add the Sinister Serpent to your hand.
Unfortunately, I don't think that's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to bin all the hand destruction. I think that's a pretty easy one. I'm going to go Mirage, and I'll go Graceful Charity.
Wow,
Have fun.
Mirage is interesting. So I don't want to give you the hand destruction stuff, obviously. Far too good for my taste. Gosh. Yeah, you can have the Mirage of Nightmare.
Okay, so that will be going to my hand. Get rid of that. I shall have a rather boring turn of setting a couple of cards, and I will pass it to you.
Not even firing the Mirage, huh? All right.
Drop
You got a drop off?
that card.
No problem. It's just a solemn judgment. What would I need that for? I already have everything I need.
Oh, great. Love
so
to
this
hear
time, I'm going to remember how to play last turn. And what I like about these episodes is sometimes the viewers get to go on a journey with us. The journey through learning how to play these decks. And hopefully I will learn how to very shortly. We're going to lead with a Forceful Sentry here.
Sure. I will go ahead and show you my hand. It is not very exciting.
Oh, no, that's not very exciting. Well,
I was hoping you would think I would have the Mystical Space Typhoon and not give me Mirage, so unfortunately that just backfired.
I guess you can put the Sinister Serpent back. This is a card I want to see less than anything else, but yeah, nothing super fun going on there. I'm gonna set 3 and pass it back to you.
Okay. So no inspection. I guess that's a somewhat good sign. I will draw.
You'll live at least one more turn, don't worry.
I shuffled my deck. Okay.
Really? Oh, really?
I did. It was in the log. I did shuffle my deck.
Oh my god. For those of you at home who don't get a look under the hood, Cimo has drawn the card off of Sentry every single time it's been activated. And sometimes it's because we forget to shuffle decks. I know it's shocking that we're fallible.
Okay. Well, I shall start by flip summoning Witch of the Black Forest.
Yeah, sure.
I will normal summon Yada Garasu.
Sounds good to me, buddy.
I'll battle phase, fail to hit over your set Witch.
So it's not Witch, it is Morphing Jar.
You know, I'm pretty okay with that, with the way my hand looks, so.
Ah, man, if I had just kept that card out of your grip.
And we'll hit in for the Yada.
Yeah, not super excited about that. I know that's a shocker.
Your deck doesn't care about cards.
No, it really doesn't.
You're taking a long think about this one.
I'm
Ooh.
a Book of Moon Yada. It's not fantastic.
Interesting. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I'll go to main phase 2. Ugh, you being on an extra 5 cards is just awful. I am going to set 2 cards face down, and I will pass my turn.
Horrifying. I'll draw. You got a drop off?
No drop off. You may proceed to your main phase 1.
Oh my god, that never happens. All right, so we're going to lead with a Graceful Charity.
That sucks. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so we know the set card is a Magician of Faith.
You know the set card is Yada Garasu, because you said it.
Oh yeah. Well, damn, I'm done. I'm so stupid. Oh my gosh.
I mean, no, it's Magician of Faith.
All right, we'll lose Cyber Jar and Magician here.
Okay. Those are 2 very good cards you just got rid of, so I'm a bit worried.
I'm going to upstart.
You know, that's perfectly fine. I'll take the 1,000.
I'm going to fire off Reckless Greed.
Sure.
I'm going to fire
he's
off
digging.
Pot of Greed.
This is looking good for you.
It's looking all right. Oh, we should look just a little bit better. Okay. Shoot. And the win con is where exactly? Oh boy. Okay. We are going to activate Giant Trunade.
Yep. So to hand goes everything.
God, this is really bad. I'm gonna normal summon Witch and attack your Yada Garasu.
I mean, if that's the best you've got, it's not the worst, so I will let Yada go.
Imagine drawing 15 cards and that's what you end on. We're gonna set 1... Ugh, God. 2... You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards in hand. Blech. This is so bad. I don't like it. I'll set 1 more and pass.
Okay. Draw phase. Anything.
All good.
Standby phase. Return Sinister Serpent.
Enjoy your Sinister.
Main phase 1. Well, I know you have it, so I'm gonna force it. I'm gonna Heavy Storm.
I don't have it.
No way.
Yeah.
What?
I think I'm going to Book of... yeah, I think I have to protect my life total here. No, that's fine. Everything's fine.
Okay. I am shocked that that just happened.
Right.
Okay. All right. I'm going to Snatch Steal your Witch of the Black Forest.
That fucking sucks, yeah?
I actually forgot to side this out, and then
And it's
I
coming
still
up.
I mean, it's coming up. I'm just gonna hit for 25.
Sure, I'll take the 25.
Main phase 2. I don't even know what to do at this point. You know, when we're on Sinister Serpent Beatdown of all things, I shall set 2 cards and pass the turn. Go ahead.
All right, no draw phase for me. That's 1 on Reckless Greed. So
You get
enjoy
1,000
your
life
drop
points
off.
for Snatch Steal.
Broken. All right, I will Feather Duster.
I actually didn't think you would be on Duster. I mean, I guess Duster over, like, Storm.
Right.
True Nade I can see. I saw that in the previous game. I need to think here. So I have a Ring of Destruction. I'm just deciding what I want to target.
Right.
Obviously, the Sinister Serpent's the correct choice, right? I'm just kidding.
For sure, it adds back to the...
It does, so it's all the value. I'm tempted to ring your Witch, which would get you a search, which is what I'm kind of worried about. I could ring my own Witch and get a search. You having Witch, I suppose, like, isn't the end of the world. Yeah, I'll ring my own Witch.
Okay.
Okay, so all this will get destroyed. You hit my MST as the other one. You will get your Witch back. I will get my Witch search. And I think I just have to go for the boy himself.
There he is. Proceed to combat and get in for 800.
Not my Sinister Serpent.
I know, shocking. Second main, I am going to set 1, and you are good to go.
I'll draw. Standby phase, I'll get Sinister Serpent.
Oh,
that was
good.
a really good draw, actually. I will activate Graceful Charity.
Oh, come on.
We're going to get rid of the Sinister Serpent. Thank you for getting it back to my hand. You're on turn 1 Reckless, correct? So you still don't have another draw phase?
That's right, yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's at least a bit of a relief. I think I'm going to discard Ring of Destruction.
Okay.
I'm going to start with a Dark Hole. I want to see what that set monster is.
Sangan.
Okay, so pretty punished there.
Now we're gonna get
Let's see what you get.
Shaugen and Magician of Faith.
Sure. I'm going to fire a Premature Burial.
Yep,
I'm going to target my Witch of the Black Forest.
that's fine.
I'm going to tribute said Witch for Jinzo.
Yep.
Trigger Witch of the Black Forest. Let's go for a copy of Dawn Zalug.
Yep.
I will proceed to the battle phase. We'll hit you for 2. I get nervous when you're in, like, getting closer to, like, last turn range. Yeah, I'll hit you for 24.
Right, that's fine.
Main phase 2, I will set 1, and I shall pass the turn.
All right, not super exciting from me. I am going to set 1, and I will set 2, and I will pass my turn.
During your end phase, I will MST your back row.
Yeah, I was really hoping that wasn't it. It is last turn.
Oh boy! I mean, you have Jinzo, to be fair.
And I
but...
can't play through Don Zalug with this card. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one. I will draw. Standby phase. I will get the Serpent. All right, main phase 1. So I know 2 of the cards in your hand are Jaugen and Magician of Faith, correct?
That's correct.
And I do not know the final card.
Right.
Okay. Since it is known information, what is Jaugen's defense?
13.
13. Okay. I think I have to go for it. I'll normal summon Don Zalug.
Yep.
I'm going to Monster Reborn. I can Monster Reborn anything at this point, but I think I will take my own Magician or Witch of the Black Forest. Excuse me.
Yep.
Proceed to the battle phase.
And you got it.
Oh my god.
Oh, I was so close in games 1 and 3, but Jinzo, man, he's just the guy.
He's such a house. Like, how has Jinzo been relevant this many episodes? It's at 1. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh wow. So you
I
had
the whole
everything
thing, yeah.
ready.
Oh man, there was just not a particularly good turn to go for it. Yeah, I think I am gonna get blasted in the comments because I'm pretty sure I played game 2 like a monkey just clicking buttons, but I thought I played game 3 all right, and God, it's just really hard to beat this back. The moth would get charity. Let me just see how deep I can go on this.
Sure.
Yeah, still
I mean,
don't have it.
while you're doing that, I mean, to be fair, I think you're going to be the hero for everyone that you managed to pull off last turn. I was going to save last turn until we got to Ancient Sanctuary. I didn't realize that inspection actually worked this way, so I think this is really cool that you actually highlighted something that's probably very obscure. I mean, when you're going back to upper deck rulings, that just goes to show like how far back we're talking about.
Yeah, so for people who aren't familiar with this card, there are so many issues with last turn. The version that you're seeing right now on screen is a compilation of like 3 or 4 attempts at errata. There were never any consistent rulings about this card. I have no doubt that I probably played it incorrectly over the course of this match, but it's just a disaster. And a lot of these early cards in early card games, things like Last Turn Here, Last Will is another great example, something about the last cards. In Magic the Gathering, cards like Scheherazade, these cards are designed to do things that are really cool. But within the bounds of the game's rules, there's like no way to make this work.
Yeah, I mean, when people figured out that Jowgen last turn was a thing, and especially, again, when we get to Ancient Sanctuary, because you have cards like Wall of Revealing Light, that's like one of the biggest things. Inspection effectively does the same thing for you, but I think last turn was more popularized around that point. Is last turn semi-limited at this point, or is it limited? I forget.
It is semi-limited, yeah.
Right, and that's one of the perks of it right now.
Yeah, it's so odd that this card is at 2.
My plan for you saw my multiple copies of Ring of Destruction, because Ring is at 3
Fantastic.
currently.
Yeah.
It's not at 1 yet. My plan was to, if you started going down this inspection train again, was to just ring any monster that has like 1,000 attack, like Witch or anything, and that way you would just immediately kill yourself. So.
Yeah, I figured that was the play, but unfortunately Ring is just as good against Jowgen. Last turn doesn't summon from my deck. It only summons from your opponents. So I have to straight up find Jowgen or the non-aggression area. You saw versus the Heavy Storm, I had the non-aggression, but you can only activate it during your own standby phase. So like, it's not a very good card.
No.
It's good insofar as you don't have to keep a monster on field in the format with triple Ring of Destruction. So, you know, I'm playing it, but it's bad insofar as it is a normal trap card that just isn't chainable at all. It just has to exist at the same time as your opponent, not having anything. And I don't know, maybe could have panned out differently, but it did seem pretty unlikely with you having drawn half your deck. There just wasn't a better time to go for it. Jinzo really puts the screws on.
Right, and I had Jinzo all 3 games, too.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I lost the second one, but you did a pretty good job keeping Jinzo in check because you were pretty much in the driver's seat at that point.
I mean,
but again,
did you lose the second one?
Well, okay, we drew, possibly. We don't know technically because of how badly we probably fucked it up. But
yeah, I'm sure either, like, in real life, I would have lost the game by getting a UC minor. A judge would have walked up to me, said, "What the hell are you doing?" and disqualified me from the Toys R Us where we were playing. I'm sure. This is also the format where, like, Book of Moon shows up, right?
Right.
And that's a fantastic way to get Jinzo at least face down for the last turn. But you can't keep him face down for the last turn and the non-aggression. It's just too much.
To be fair, there's so few ways to really deal with Jinzo during the opponent's turn at this point. And I feel like Book of Moon is one of those first few quick play spells. People talk about how good a Book of Moon is in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Even back then, like, yeah, it wasn't as popular as it might seem later towards GOAT format once we get to, you know, maybe a year or 2 later from this point. But Book of Moon, being able to check Jinzo, if it literally just said, set Jinzo face down, I think people would have still played it, no questions asked.
Oh, are you ready? I've just heard back how you determine who goes first in a draw.
I'm glad that we figured that out after we finished the game.
Per old UDE rulings, this is really what it says. Play rock, paper, scissors.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna type one of the 3 in the chat. And so instead of doing the die roll, it's going to be like this. You type something, I'll type something, and we'll let it go at the same time, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so this is how it should have been done. So on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Ooh.
Fuck! Damn it,
All right,
Joseph!
Gotta go to game 4. No, it's just so weird. And last turn represents not only just this huge rulings nightmare, but also is a great litmus test for kind of the scale of Yu-Gi-Oh! At this time, because I don't think anyone at Upper Deck or later Konami ever expected that this would become sort of the childhood-defining memory for so many people, such an important cultural touchstone. Like, early in Yu-Gi-Oh! They really thought it was just going to be a fun thing you spent $10 on, played a couple pickup games with your friends, and then went back to Super Soakers or whatever. The fact that it has spawned such a dedicated player base and has necessitated such specific rulings for how frequent these corner cases are, I mean, it's kind of beautiful in a really horrifying way. Like, I'm very, very glad that we don't have to play with this card legal, but it's really, really cool to do the archaeology to see what it was like when it was.
What's fascinating is that it actually showed that previously Konami and Upper Deck and, you know, just Yu-Gi-Oh! In general like to experiment with these alternate win conditions. And you really don't see that nowadays, where a game like Magic the Gathering, there's probably an alternate win condition in every set that they print. Are they good? Probably not. Sometimes they are. But we saw more of this in Yu-Gi-Oh's early stages. You know, we saw Last Turn. We saw, oh God, what was it? Venom and Naga, I think. I mean, that's obviously Tactical Evolution, so that's a ways from now. But that was like with the Hyper Venom counters. We have Destiny Board, which is basically just Spell and Trap Exodia, if we're going to be honest. There was different ways that you could build your deck to make it just not beat your opponent in the face, not just rip every card from your opponent's hand, that you had this one standalone build-around card. And I think that's really cool. Not to mention, the card just looks badass. I mean, it's Hino Kagusuchi beating the living shit out of Yamada Dragon. Like, who wouldn't want to own a card that has that artwork?
Two things. One, you're sleeping on FA winners in Phantasm Spiral Assault.
Oh,
I mean,
excuse
how dare
me.
you.
Sorry.
Secondly, do you think Hino Kagasuke is naked in this?
I don't know. That
Chat.
sounds like a good question for the subscribers.
Comments, let us know. If we can move Hino Kagasuke's leg, would we see their dangly bits? And would they be as thick as the legs? Look at those.
We would see Yamada Dragon's 10th head, most likely.
Oh, God. Disgusting. I do want to say real quickly that I feel as if a lot of these alternate win cons, the Destiny boards, the Last Turns, they're an attempt for Konami to get you to play something else. Because early on, there's no deck building restriction in terms of what you can put in. It's not like Witch of the Black Forest doesn't work in the same deck as Zayluke. So for the first 10 or 12 sets, you can get away just playing the best cards in the format. And Last Turn and Destiny board kind of represent an early attempt at getting people to diversify their deck choice without stringing them along into archetypes. I think the final form of that design philosophy was archetypes, where they were like, okay, these cards are crazy if you play them with each other, so play them with each other.
It's funny too, because this set introduced Gravekeepers, but it's funny because aside from Gravekeeper, Spy, and maybe Guard, they're all awful. They are all unplayable.
They're terrible.
Except for like maybe Necro Valley to a degree, but we don't see the Gravekeepers get really legitimately good until Recruiter. And when is that? Like 2012?
Yeah, it's a long way off. I mean, Spy is a good card, but it's a good card in a vacuum, just like everything else we're playing.
Absolutely, and that card doesn't even start seeing play until realistically the Birth of Monarchs, because there really isn't value in summoning multiple Spies aside from getting extra damage on the field, I guess. But
those 1200 beats.
When you can use them for tribute fodder, though, then the whole game changes. No, so I'm just gonna... Just a hunch, just educated guess. I'm going to say you spun Jank for the wheel.
Yeah, big surprise. I was looking to spin Control. I really did want to play Hand Control, but the wheel giveth and the wheel taketh away. I guess I should be a little more careful about what I wish for. There's about 40 clips of me saying, I can't wait to spin the Jank slice, and now it seems like I can't spin anything else.
So what's funny is that I, too, also spun the Jank slice for my first spin. And so could you imagine what would have happened if we were both playing something this degenerate? What I was going to play, I will share it with you because it's actually completely irrelevant from this point onward. I was going to play, to get my revenge, I was going to play Exodia.
Oh my God.
Reckless Greed is at 3. We still have Graceful Charity at 2 because I believe on the next ban list is when it gets limited. We have Backup Soldier. We still have all the other good cards. Now you might be thinking, oh, it's Hand Destruction format. That's terrible. Yes, but you wouldn't have expected it, and that would have been the perfect way to exact my revenge. So I actually had an Exodia turbo list built, and it just didn't come out. I was very close. I was about a centimeter off from getting the Jank slice once more.
God.
And it ended up just barely eking out hand control, and so here we are.
Well, for the benefit of the viewers, I'm glad it didn't happen, but for the benefit of me, I wish you had. I would wish you all the luck in the world with Exodia, but I don't think it's going to be able to stand up to Donze, Luke.
I'd be very curious if you were on this and I was on the Exodia deck, who's actually favored, because with you playing all these jars, that is potentially its own form of hand disruption in a way. I don't know if your win condition is quicker to get to than mine. It's technically less pieces.
I was going to say, it's 3 cards, yours is 5, but
right.
Neither of them would be very good. You can't Ring of Destruction an Exodia. You can Ring of Destruction a Jowgen very easily.
Right. I guess if you're not on any sort of hand destruction whatsoever, then it's actually not bad. I still think it's hilarious that I sided in Electric Snake for you, thinking that, because in the first game, all I saw, the only card that was maybe questionable was Morphing Jar.
Yeah.
And everything else just seemed normal because I really didn't get to see much else of your deck. And so I thought, okay, well, if he's going first, if he's on hand destruction, the drop-off sleeves might just be, you know, staring me dead in the face. I might as well side in Electric Snakes to hopefully not get railed. And yeah, then I saw what you were actually playing, and I quickly regretted that decision.
Yeah, and I regretted my decision of playing this, but I'm glad I got it out of my system, and hopefully next week in this exact same shirt, I will be able to spin Controller Beatdown. Please.
Oh, please. Do you know when we go back to in-person events, how many people are going to be coming up to you, having you sign their copies of Last Turn? You're the hero of the series, Joseph.
You're
please.
saying that now, but when it goes up, what I'm going to be signing is printed out copies of the rulings page for Last Turn. People will show up and say, hey, can you sign this thing you completely disregarded on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Wiki? And I'll say yes.
So guys, that's going to wrap it up for another episode of the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! What a trip. We still have plenty of more episodes to go through. If Joseph's bringing this, I don't know what he's going to bring next episode. Only the wheel knows, and you'll have to tune in next time to find out. So thank you all so much for watching. We have to shout out our patrons over on Patreon as always. So big shout outs to Pony Stark, Joshua Wiley, Tim00x3, Michael Dente, Mystic Walk, Oli, Neo Cypher, Slacker, Sylvia Wilds, and Gayoko, Part 2, Dan the Man Hoban, Synchro Guy, GW, Jarvis Martin, G-Man99, Logan Thomas, Dragon Lord, Dollywop, Peter Gregory, Showtagonist, Thomas Nelson, Emil Cohen, Draconic, Alex Smith, Jordan Coos, Timothy Chen, Jesse Wood, True Nerdgasm, Naru Celeste, Chris Hood, and Jordan Husey. Thank you all so much for watching the video, and we will see you next time.